Leipziger Fachhandel in der Eisenbahnstraße.
Cashier makes a difference. Die Magie des Pferdesports. Überall. Jederzeit. Erlebe die größten Turniere live. Tauche ein in spannende Formate, exklusive Inhalte und eine Mediathek voller Highlights. Springen, Dressur, Vielseitigkeit, Voltigieren, Fahren. Alles an einem Ort. Horses, Sport, Entertainment. Clip My Horse TV.
Get ready for the adrenaline fueled edge of your seat action. The FEI Driving World Cup is back. Teamwork, precision, pure horsemanship as the world's best four-man teams go head-to-head with a goal to reach the final in Norway. This is FEI Driving its absolute best.
Der Hintergedanke ist ja, dass wir die Faszination Pferd schon in ganz klein vermitteln wollen. Die Verbindung zum Pferd, den Kontakt, dass jeder einmal verführt ein Pferd zum Anfassen erleben darf.
Neben Themen wie Verantwortung, Kameradschaft, Achtung vor dem Lebewesen, Achtung vor der Natur bekommen unsere Kinder mit die besten Freunde. Pferde sind dafür da und verantwortlich werden, es einfach lebenswert.
Daher finde ich, in Kontakt zu kommen, von und mit Pferden zu lernen und zu wachsen.
Für Kinder in Kontakt mit Pferden zu kommen oder beim Reiten zu lernen, leider kontinuierlich rückläufig ist.
Unser gemeinsames Ziel ist es, zukünftig wieder mehr Kinder für das Pferd zu begeistern.
Daher bitten alle unsere Geschäftspartner und Partner wirklich aktiv, das zu kommunizieren, weiterzutragen und weiterzuerzählen.
Bereit für Veränderung, für neue Märkte. Bereit für Business, überall und jederzeit. Bereit für alles, was kommt.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Leipzig for the FEI Driving World Cup Season 25-26. Since 2001, the FEI Driving World Cup Series has provided numerous thrilling, action-packed moments to spectators all around Europe. This season, we once again have 8 qualifiers leading up to the highly anticipated final taking place in Montreal from the 7th to the 8th of February 2026. The FEI wishes all drivers in our entourage the best of luck. To all the spectators, we hope you will have a great time here in Leipzig while experiencing. Meine Damen und Herren, wir freuen uns, in Leipzig zum FEI Driving World Cup der Saison 2025-2026 begrüßen zu dürfen. Der FEI Driving World Cup besteht seit 2001 und hat den Zuschauern in ganz Europa viele spannende und actionreiche Momente beschert. In dieser Saison werden 8 Qualifikationsprüfungen den Weg zum prestigeträchtigen Finale ebnen. Die FEI wünscht allen Fahrern, die am FEI Driving World Cup teilnehmen, viel Glück und den Fans, Ihnen, meine Damen und Herren, dass Sie jeden Moment des Besten. Die Prüfung heute, meine Damen und Herren, wir haben 6 Kutschen am Start. Die 3 Besten eines ersten Umlaufes dürfen in das sogenannte Drive-Off und starten umgekehrter Reihenfolge zum Ergebnis des ersten Umlaufes und sie starten wieder bei 0. Der Parcours, der hier gebaut ist, 13 Hindernisse haben, bestehen 2 Geländehindernisse, außerdem ein Boxer, der steht ganz oben an der kurzen Seite, das ist die Nummer 13 und natürlich 4 Minuten haben wir noch. Sie kennen das Prozedere, Feuer, alle 6. Und wir sind immer ein bisschen leise, wenn Sie in die Geländehindernisse gehen. Das ist Hindernis Nummer 5 und Hindernis Nummer 9. 5 hier unten vor dem Einritt, 9 oben an der kurzen Seite. Und wenn Sie dann rausziehen aus den Hindernissen, dann ist Leipzig hinter Ihnen und hilft Ihnen. Und ich glaube, das müssen wir einmal checken, ob der Leipzig ja auch bereit ist für diesen FEI Driving World Cup. Ja, das ist mal ganz kurz der Moment, wo wir ein paar Zuschauer von uns ein bisschen Zuschauer, die hier regelmäßig hinkommen, die kennen Sie. Sie haben immer die richtige Flagge dabei. Dieses Jahr leider ein bisschen verkleinerter, ja, wie soll ich sagen, Gesetz.
Here we are in Leipzig. A very warm welcome to you. I'm Sarah Dance and I am absolutely delighted to be bringing you the coverage of this, the final leg of the 2025-2026 FEI Driving World Cup. What a season it has been, and it's not over yet. Yes, we are at the sharp end of the action. It has, of course, been dominated by what's going on in the arena not long before the builds came in. But there you have it, confirmation that we are in Leipzig, leg 8 of 8 as we get going. Sadly, 2 casualties who were due to join us, and they're not with us anymore. We are missing 2 great names on there. Christoph Sandmann and Frederick Pearson should have been with us, but they're not due to injury, and that was just a brief glance of where everybody is in the rankings. Boyd is just revving up and getting going. We didn't have a very long run in, did we? As we kick off with Boyd Exell here in Leipzig. He is driving as a wild card, so just keep a note of where he's going to be on those split times as he comes out. Of course, we want the Bulls to stay on top. This is a Jeroen Hooterman course. He opened for us in Lyon. Can you remember back that far? As Boyd drops into the first of the marathon style obstacles. They will be numbers 5 and 9 on this 13 obstacle course. In through B, we've got lovely big letters on display tonight to give us very clear vision of what's coming. Remember, the capital letters mean that is the direction through which our teams should go, and when you see the smaller letters on the back, that's the reverse view. And he's making it look pretty straightforward, as our reigning world champion tends to do. And he's out in about 70. So keep a note of that. This is a benchmark round. And we all know that Mr. Exell does not like to do anything other than come first, and not forgetting that he's done exceptionally well. Little look down there, we lost the sight to see if the ball had come off, but he's been driving since Stockholm with a broken, came a little worse off with an arena door in Valkenswaard at his base in Holland, and has gone through more than half the season with a broken foot. He's also been in Australia, busman's holiday for Boyd, as he was over there running clinics and teaching, as well as seeing the family at home in Bega in New South Wales, as he comes over the bridge. And we will all become a little familiar with the course as time goes on. Looks like it's a fairly loose surface, and there we have a great view of Dutch, the mare, ducking over the line. That's the little mare out in front. She might be the smallest member of the team, but she's certainly the feistiest. So he's out in 158.29, so keep a note of that. He's looking a little rueful. Emma on the back there, keeping him right as she does. And Wannis Larsen on the bottom step. That's the team for Exell, and they are pretty solid. There's been no changes in the equine and backstepping personnel. They work very well together, and good old Bundy there with his own huge fan club, age 22, over 150 World Cup starts, surely the most decorated and garlanded horse in any FEI sport, as we welcome in another wildcard driving here on home turf in Germany. And it is, of course, the great lady herself, Mareike Meier. We should be calling her Mareike for the purposes of this competition, because we also have her compatriot and teammate Anna Sandmann coming soon. But Mareike here as a wild card as well as she gets underway. Now her team tonight, we've got Joey in there. Now Joey looks very dinky. He actually belongs to Mickey Brokler. And look at little Joey in there on the left lead, and he's a cracking indoors. Just look at the size of him next to Mareike's big, scopy, elegant horses. And she's got some of her really stalwart indoor and outdoor horses here joining Joey. We've got Fridolin, Zazu and Nero. Actually, Nero's a little bit newer to the team. He's only 7 in the right wheel. Nearest the camera. There you can just see him, but he's got the great Zazu next to him. 4 to add for Mareike. In each of these obstacles, in number 5, the first one we're coming into, there are 11 balls in total that can roll, and in number 9 there are 9. So that gives you a bit of an idea as to the precarious nature of it. I call them balls. They're actually little blocks within the obstacles. Balls on top of the cones, blocks in the obstacles. Smoothly through so far, and she is known for her smooth driving, cool head and gutsy performances, always committed, but enjoys herself. Mareike, along with her great friends Linda and Nicole on the back, they really make the most whatever competition they're at. Plus 9.24. We know that boys awfully fast over these courses, but just 4 to add so far for Mareike. These wonderful colours that she has, very patriotic all the way through, and there's going to be some sparkles there as well. Into number 9. So if you're watching both those clocks ticking next to our FEI logo, you'll see that the one on the left-hand side is the overall total, including those 4 penalty seconds. Each knock, as you well know, is 4 to add. It's the same across the course. Each roll, each knock translates to 4 seconds. And little Joey, look at him. He's got his game face on. Just pinging and bouncing and bringing all sorts of impulsion and commitment to the cause. Here in Leipzig, leg 8 of 8, competition 1. And it's great to have you with us. Whoops, just avoiding there as she crosses the line. So the last one they come through, number 13, is an oxer. And she's smiling. So she's pretty pleased with that. 177.60, 177.60, just the 4 to add. You do have to not blink and miss the scores. They flash up and down very quickly, but thank you to the technical team. Yep, there we go. That was number 2 that went. Number 2. Good to have confirmation of that, because it does all happen so quickly. That is the very nature of the World Cup. And the bridge, not so long if you do want to look at the dimensions of all these sorts of things. They exist in the FEI rules, but the bridge for this competition is number 7 and number 12. And of course, how distinctive is this gentleman coming in? Our current European outdoor champion, and of course a past World Cup champion. It is of course Bram Chardon. And Bram stuck pretty much with the same combination. We know from watching Bram's sort of experimenting in past seasons, and he and his father Ijsbrand, who will be coming forward shortly, they do sometimes swap and change, but Bram has stuck with this 4. We've got 2 Favoris, of course they're all Lipizzaners, age 13 and 15 in the lead, and we've got Conversano Mara, who's 16 and a little bit younger. This was a slightly newer horse to the combination in the right wheel. That's Singlavi Capriola Semaphore. But they will have all slightly catchier stable names. You do hear Bram talking to Mara sometimes, so Mara you will hear on the left wheel. And we also know that when it goes according to plan for Bram Chardon, he is incredibly precise. His lines are the tightest in the business. Just had a couple of blips this season. He's more than done enough to ensure that he will be in Bordeaux. That's where the road leads us in our wonderful world of World Cup driving. We are aiming to take our drivers to Bordeaux very soon. 8th of February will be when our next champion is crowned. Oh, he was tight on that gate, wasn't he? Wasting nothing. That was a very economical line there. So far, so good. Oh my goodness. This is a storming round from Bram Chardon. Minus 8.42. Wow. But he's caught something, just lost some of that advantage. No sooner did we share that great advantage with the world than it was promptly lost, but that's what happens. And some beautiful flower pots there, but what it does is block off what would otherwise be rather an obvious line in the middle of this obstacle. If you have had a chance to look at the plan, there are 2 F gates and number 5. The lines and the options do change as the season progresses. He's still on 4. The time is looking good. Remember, Boyd's total was 158.29. That is what we're aiming to beat. Remember, we are aiming for 3 drive-off places tonight. It is tonight in Leipzig, very much so, but it could be wherever in the world you are watching us, and if you're watching this on playback, which I know you do, could be very different. Right, that's a very impressive round. That's just what he wanted. That's what he's been aiming for all season. Well done, Bram Chardon. That's that's popped a smile on his face. Right, 158.56. Oh my goodness, just a hair's breadth. 158.56. Boyd was 158.29. There's nothing in it, but they've all had 4 so far. They are all full of match practice. They are all absolutely in peak form, horses and humans. Yep, that was quite decisive, wasn't it? If you're going to go, go in style. And don't give the judges and the officials any room for doubt. I do like to see those sheepskin coverings on those traces, because when those horses are leaning into their angles, those traces do come into contact with the tops of the legs going down the stifles. As really we're cracking on at quite a pace. Anna Sandmann comes in. Anna in her first World Cup season. She's qualified in the past, but this is the first time she's done it. And of course her father, Christoph, should be here, and how we wish Christoph, he has put out a public statement to say that he is devastated not to be competing here alongside his daughter. He's been very proud that both father and daughter, as rightly so, have been competing together, but he sustained an injury, not quite sure what it is, but he isn't in a position to compete here. And sadly, Frederick Pearson, as I mentioned earlier, should have been here as a qualified driver. And it does change the shape of who might well be in Bordeaux, as Anna had her season's best result in Stockholm, which was the first of our festive shows. We really do bridge Christmas beautifully, but we're in the new year now. Everyone's had a bit of a breather. It's quite intense. Certainly the first 3 events following on in each weekend. Boyd was in all of them, as Anna, who is actually driving one of Boyd's horses, Hot Rod, up there in the left lead, belongs to Sarah Granny Garnett. And I do hope you're listening and watching, Sarah, as Anna comes out, and still a lovely 0 in there. Oh, well, it was, and it's just come off number 12. Time looking quite good. There's 4 to add. So 4 to add. Patrick and Adolf on there, keeping everything stable, working that turntable brake, leaning in and out of the bends and keeping the route where it should be. It's quite an open setup, let's say, with these big letters fairly clear to see. Now she's back over the long run, coming to the bridge now. Still just the 4 to add. So that time to beat, you can see, yeah, she's just gone past that, yeah, and knocked 2 balls off that 13 oxer, but because it's the oxer, it's considered to be 1 complete obstacle. So that's 8 to add. So that was an unfortunate knock at the end, but that's 170.02. So that pops her ahead of Mareike, currently into 3rd place. Still some committed fans. It is getting quite late here in Leipzig. But some committed fans. Obviously everyone competing for the Sparkassen Trophy as well. Here at this wonderful partner Ferde event, we've got some World Cup jumping as well. My colleague Phil Gazala will be bringing that to you for the English commentary in due course. So the 3 main World Cups, obviously driving, dressage, and this driving, yeah, you just saw where the ball went there as she came back over the bridge. And just look on the outside, yeah, 1, 2, but that counted as 1 ball, so 1 set of 4 seconds to add to that. As in comes Dries Degrieck. Now he's been having a cracking season. He was standing in silver medal position on that podium at the final last year in Bordeaux, and he's got Tara and Kim on the back there, and his team, Hunter, his stalwart known in the stables as Smokey, Leon Kane B, and new to the team this year, Kimano. He's a big fan of the KWPM breed, the Dutch warm blood or Dutch harness horses, all sorts of shapes and sizes, but very much sport horse breeding. And we know that Dries drives with this enormous commitment. His horses go so fast, and much as it's lovely to have you here for the online viewing, if you ever get a chance to go and see one of these World Cup competitions in the flesh, so to speak. There's a quick picture of Jeroen Huteman, the course builder. You really get a sense of the G-force and the power and the speed, and none more so with these horses. There's so much impulsion that they create. It's like their own force field. They could probably light most of Leipzig with the energy they create. And we know that when the bulls stay on top, that this gentleman is the one to beat. He's incredibly fast. There is never any doubt in his bravery and commitment and that of his horses, the confidence he gives them through his dexterity. Whoa! Now, the body language there would indicate, yeah, that was the same one that caught Boyd out. Don't forget, Dries has been looking up to Boyd for many years. Tara also trained with him. And an interesting fact that when Tara was on the silver medal winning British team at the Horse Pairs World Championship in Beekbergen back in August, she was actually driving Kane B, who is in the left wheel. There he is just on the inside turn there, and she paired him with her single horse Caddens and helped the British team. So the versatility of these wonderful horses, they're quite incredible. Just what they can turn their hooves to. As Dries still on 4, the consistency from all our drivers. Hang on, Kim. Hang on, Kim. That was quite a turn. This is something that he does. He does kick up a bit of surface. Right, no more down if he's going to be in that drive off. This is a very, very fast time, and look where that's put him. Just look where that's going to put him. Time to beat was 158.29, and where is he going to find himself? Come on, let's get confirmation. But he's smiling. He's smiling. Yeah, that's it. 155.50. that was a cracking round. He's fast. It just seems to come so naturally to him. This raw talent that Dries has shown from the get-go with pony teams. And he told me last year during an interview that actually he felt he honed a lot of his driving skills by driving a tandem of Welsh ponies when he was a schoolboy, around about when he's 11 or 12. He used to come home from school every night and drive his ponies. So you can have all the talent in the world, but you need the commitment and the work ethic, particularly in this driving job. And that's where it takes you. And then if you stay with it for a lifetime and you have a wife and a family and all your children that have as much belief, you come out in the shape of the great Ijsbrand Chardon. And I say it each time, but if you want a lift, be it emotionally or spiritually, just watch Ijsbrand, take it on board, and most of all, watch Casper. And I was ringside in London to see Casper. There he is, the little, is it called a Pezzato Tobbiano? He's 20 now. He's pretty much as much of a legend as Boyd's Bundy is. And Casper absolutely dictated the rounds and the pace, kept a lid on everything, and he coaches round those other three bigger horses. Look at, you can just see the dimensions of him there. But he's such a clever horse. He's got such a good head on him. And Ijsbrand did what he did in London just before Christmas. Once again, like in 2024, he repeated it with a win in the World Cup and is currently second in those rankings, sitting on 24 points at the moment, 2 7s and a 10 so far. Absolutely guaranteed of a place in Bordeaux. Just you watch Casper. Yeah, out a little bit faster than Boyd. Boyd was out in 17, Ijsbrand out. Let's see what the split is. Looked like he was a second or so up. Yeah. Commentator slightly polishing her nails and rubbing them on her shoulders with a little bit of accuracy there. It doesn't always happen. Oh, and then the advantage goes. Oh, we're all in a precarious position here covering the live sport. But I will give our drivers a lot of credit for being incredibly consistent. They've all not won, obviously. Anna just caught that last Oxer on the way out as well. But good course building. We have spun at speed through this first set. Whoa! That was a turn and a half. Good horses. And that's where the experience and the natural daredevil driving that Ijsbrand brings to the fore. And if you ever see him at the end of a prize giving, particularly if he's won, it's very much don't do this at home, but it doesn't half keep the crowds entertained as he races through the finish. Now let's just see. I don't know if that will be good enough for a drive off. I suspect we're looking at Dries, Bram and Boyd for the drive off, but let's just wait to get confirmation. Yes, he's just out, only just by a second or so, but doesn't matter because he's here to enjoy himself and here to give the crowds what they enjoy. He's got Jeanette, his daughter and Chris there. The music, it's so much a part of what we do in this competition. Obviously we don't quite have it going to the same extent in the jumping and the dressage, but it's very much laced into the rhythm and the beat. And really encouraging crowd participation if you get a good track on there. Whoa! That's why, did you see how much on that turn the carriage, the inside wheels came off? And that's why your back steppers put all their weight to the inside, otherwise that carriage would have flipped out. That was a very good illustration. So, just goes to show place on 155.50. This is after round one. Boyd Exell 158.29 and marginally a slither behind him, Bram Chardon on 158.56. You've just seen the great man Bram's father Ijsbrand Chardon go around there at 159.81. So close between them all. Anna Sandmann, she was there, and Mareike Meier. So course builders and officials, there will probably be a little bit of breathing space. Everybody out in the warm-up arena. It is one of our very biggest shows. The arena isn't quite so big here. It's 75 long by about 35 wide, and of course the course builder takes that into account. But there's a very big show beyond what you see on the pictures. We've got some lovely close-up shots. There's Anna there. So be a little moment before we get them back in for the drive off, and to confirm, those of you that follow this regularly will know that we'll have a slightly different course for this, the first drive off in competition 1. It stays the same for competition 2, but I'll cover that when we get to it on Sunday lunchtime. We're dropping 5B and we are dropping 9F. So that's confirmation of the 3 that will be coming into this competition 1. Drive off, Bram, then Boyd, then Dries, going in reverse order, of course, of how they've just finished in the results. And those numbers next to them show where they are currently, pretty much guaranteed a place. Boyd's there, he's sitting on 30 points, he's done his job. All those drivers who are going to be in the final, all 3 of these guys there, all 3 of them on podiums. Dries, could it be his year this year? He is very, very close to it, isn't he? I know he has a big fan base out there. And Bram and Boyd, very seasoned gentlemen standing on that top podium step. And this is the part, as you know, that I enjoy. We're seeing all the kit. We've got some mini tractors going around, and sometimes we have harrows and sometimes we have rollers, and it very much depends on what surface is out there. Sometimes they're a bit more waxy or a bit dampened down. Sometimes there's a bit more fibre in them or a bit more sand. All I can share with you is that there's a huge amount of work, and this is a big exhibition hall, as all these indoor shows are on this circuit, not just for the driving but all the additional ones. The jumping has the most qualifiers on the European circuit. Don't forget that for the jumping we've got the American leagues as well. And lorry loads, tons and tons and tons of these surfaces are popped in. The grandstands are built. These wonderful screens and advertisement boards are built. And then after the last class has finished, it all comes down very quickly. That it is a well-oiled machine, as we say. They reckon about 75,000 visitors will come to this show, and it's big on atmosphere, they say. The jumping and the driving here, it is a very well-established show. It was actually one of Germany's biggest winter shows, indoor shows, before it got the World Cup slots. It's a huge exhibition site, but the site itself dates back to the 12th century. These new halls, the Leipzig Messe they're called, were built in 1996. The indoor space is 110,000 square metres. It's vast, really vast. I remember the first time I went there personally in 2022 was to cover that fabulous joint World Cup final when we had the vaulting the dressage and the driving and the jumping. It really was magical. How I wish we could do that all again, because it was so special to have them all. We were all slightly out of kilter after the pandemic, and it really was very, very special to have them all under this particular roof. And going in through what looked like the front door, it took some time to find the site, but once you're there, there is a real party, festive atmosphere around the back. And there'll be lots of fun and partying going on around the bar areas at the moment, I can guarantee. But just now, we've got quite a few of our driving fans still watching it. And on the left side of your screens, you can see that's where the dining is. And the families and everybody in the other areas. I guarantee it probably will be full up come the actual World Cup final. So as I was saying, Frederick Pearson was due to be here as a qualified driver, and I heard intel today that he's actually got what we think is an ear infection at the moment, something like that, and just wasn't able to be here, which is a great shame, because actually technically, had he had a great result, he could have gone ahead of Christoph Sandmann. At the moment, it looks like Christoph will take that 6th place. At the moment, it's Boyd, Ijsbrand, Bram, Dries and Jerome Butaz, who are the top 5. Christoph Sandmann is sitting in place 6. This is the rankings table for those top 6 places in Bordeaux in the final. Mareike can't get any more points. She's here as a World Cup. Glenn Geertz has had his season. Frederick could have been here. Could have, if he'd had a very good event and earned some weighty ranking points. Might well have snuck in there, but it's not going to be. And Anna Sandmann, well, if she wins on, or certainly comes second, there is a chance she could well end up there. But let's take ourselves back to the action as it is happening. And we are in our first drive-off, competition 1 drive-off. There are no ranking points here, but what it does is it really seals the psychological sort of battlefield game plan as off he goes. And he's a very analytical driver. They all are at this top level, but Bram is in particular, and he will have raced through that round, worked out where he might shave off a little bit of time, where he will aim to leave that ball back on top again. That got knocked. And don't forget that it's a slightly different route. If you do have the sort of mind that can very quickly pick up the patterns and the routes through these obstacles, and quite easy to see with these triangular gates. It's very open, isn't it? They're fairly flimsy. It doesn't take much to knock one of the blocks off and gain that time, as this good-looking team of greys looking keen. Still on the course with nothing to add for Bram Chardon. He won here last year. This is normally a good event for him. And he really fine-tunes everything ahead of the Bordeaux competition. So it is absolutely a warm-up for the final. Our winner here last year. Can he do it again in the drive-off? And no F gate. Remember, he will be exiting after E. So that's it. He's finished that obstacle. That's clear. And he's out. So we've dropped the F gate. He's over the bridge. So that's through 10, 11. Oh, gosh, a good picture there. Did keep all 4 wheels on the ground, unlike Dries a moment ago. Looking good. Looking good as he crosses the line. Yep. Clean and clear. 1:36.91 plus 0. Yeah, he's found his mojo. He's found his mojo. Bram is back. Yes, a big smile. And a quick word from the course builder. They work so closely together, our drivers, our officials and our course builders, on the indoor and the outdoor competition circuits. Jerome, of course, a technical delegate. He helps his nephew with the scoring as well. He really lives and breathes it. Very experienced, has designed many, many World Cup and World Championship courses, European Championships. So experienced. And Bram absolutely hit the sweet spot through that as we go to Boyd. Tends to be anything you can do, I can do better. But let's just see where it goes. Obviously ranked number 1, a position he has held for many, many years. Just Bundy and Dutch, Katie de Duchess, those are the leaders, and Barney and Mad Max behind. They are lean, they are fit, and they are full of some of the fastest running you will see in any equine sport. As Boyd Exell, second to go. Look at those leaders, little Dutch there, that mare. Took up indoor driving, having had a career as a single horse. I think her story is remarkable. To come to this when she was 15, what a special mare she is. She's quite petite when you see her in the flesh, but she makes up for it in attitude. She's a great girl. Boyd's often had, he had his great Demi, a good mare on the team, and Bundy, great Bundy next to him. Must be on about 110 or so World Cup wins, over well over 150 starts. What a record this horse has had. 22 years old. There he is. Whoop. Good old, now, that's why you have a Bundy in your team. Did you see that? When this is over, watch it again, because Bundy absolutely made sure that that gate did not get touched. Good old Bundy. I think Bundy, if he wasn't worth his weight in gold, which he is, it really is, that was a very, very good job by that leader on the left there. Absolutely kept everyone out of trouble. What a good horse. And it just keeps going for them. Now, okay, there's 20 on there. Ooh, was that an error? Of course. Wrong gate in wrong direction. I just wonder if that was an error. Now, it was all happening so quickly and I was so busy concentrating on the horses, and quite rightly he's given them a pat because they worked hard for him. We'll need to watch that one back again. 20's gone on there. One would imagine there was an error, of course. Yeah, a little bit of a shake of Boyd's head. It all happened so quickly. But listen, he's in the drive-off. He's here as a wild card. No point in kerfuffling around in the middle of an obstacle to correct yourself. You just stick with it. Quite sensible from everybody involved. Let's see if we can see what happened there. Don't forget that our drivers, particularly those that are pretty sure they're going to be in the drive-off, have to effectively walk, well, let's say 4 obstacle routes, because they have to know which routes they're taking for round 1, but they also have to know what they're doing in round 2. Yeah, do you think he missed a gate? The 20 penalties in the rules are for the wrong gate in the sequence of direction. So we'll just re-watch that a few times. I shall re-watch it before the commentary on Sunday for you. As would you like to stand on the back of Dries Degrieck's carriage? I think you need extremely good grip in those hands. talk about the bravery of the driver and the horses, but I think there's absolutely the bravery of Tara and Kim as well. This is why we need an arena party in between the rounds, because a lot of that surface comes up again, doesn't it, on these rounds. But that's it, the concentration. Yeah, he's out pretty quickly. So if you think everyone was out in sort of 69, 70 last time, he was out in 58, and that's what happens when you drop the B gate in number 5. So split is, yeah, marginally faster. There's not much in it. And certainly any cones or blocks that roll will make a difference to these placings. But at the moment, that glorious 0 sitting in the golden box. Slightly different design on these gates. Whoa! Now, 4 to add, 8 to add. I looked like there were 2 blocks on the ground, so that pretty much has handed Bram that first position, because if you look at the feet of that gate, there was, or the element rather, there was a block and one that had disappeared into the flowers. So that's why there was an 8 added there. It looked like there were 2 down within that. So quite a hefty penalty to add. But the time, of course, for Dries Degrieck will be superb. You have to swing around there and avoid that other obstacle. And he's out in a very good time. I mean, the time is phenomenal, 1:35. That would have been faster than Bram's. Bram's was 1:36.91, but with the 8 to add, that gives him 1:43.06. So that's good enough to put him into second place. So without the 8, he would have indeed been our winner tonight. But that gives Bram a really important win in terms of what goes on in the minds of our drivers and just setting things up for the points, because don't forget Bram and Dries will be earning points from this. Dries obviously had his great Mechlin and it really did thrill the crowds. Yeah, and you can just see, you've got a glimpse there on the upper side of that element knocking over that other block coming down. Yeah. I wonder if we can get somebody who studies physics to look into the angles and the weight distribution for this. So confirmation of our results. Competition 1, Bram Chardon. Congratulations to Bram and the team. 1:36.91. That is a good win for Bram Chardon. Dries Degrieck, you've just seen him fly round but knocked 2 blocks off for 1:43.06, fastest time at the 8 to add. And Boyd Exell on 1:60.808. That was the 20 to add. Again, he would have had a pretty good time, but the penalties count. And in 4th, Ijsbrand Chardon, then Anna Sandmann and Mareike Meier. So that rounds off the action here in Leipzig. We will be back on Sunday lunchtime. Don't miss anything. And in fact, this will obviously be available on playback. So if you want to try and work out, and I certainly will be watching what happened to Boyd, I think they possibly just put their noses into the wrong slot. And don't forget, the horses are so clever, they learn the routes and they don't necessarily know that the B gate or the F gate or something's being dropped. But do just take a note of where we are on those positions. Our arena bathed in red as the highly efficient crew comes in, and before you know it, it will all be taken down and put away. Do stay with us for the prize giving. We will be bringing you all that live coverage. But thank you for staying up late or getting up early, wherever you may be. And also thanks to the technical crew working in the background, putting together this footage for you at lightning speed. But tonight belongs to Bram Chardon. Everything flying Well done, Bram. And on come the phones. There were lighters once upon a time. Do you remember that? So just a quick recap. Boyd obviously took a wrong gate in the sequence or direction, and that was 20 to add to him. Time was good, everything else looking good, but didn't try and correct himself or anything. It had happened, and the horses were going. Quick recap of the season so far for those that we've got here. Obviously, Boyd's had this fantastic season. He was unassailable, really, in the first half of the season, winning in Lyon, then Maastricht, Stuttgart. He was there as a wild card, Stockholm and Geneva. And don't forget those Stockholm and Geneva legs. He was driving with that broken left foot, and it first came to all our attention when we saw him on a buggy and a scooter going around. In fact, he's still going around the courses with that. Ijsbrand has had a really solid season so far. Second in Lyon, second in Stockholm, and that win in London when it really counted. Bram, wild card, bit of a late addition to the Maastricht lineup, but he had a good opening event for his season. He was second there. Geneva was fifth, London third, Mechlin second, so creeping up the rankings table for him. And the positions, Dries being very consistent all the way through. Lyon third, Geneva second, London second, but Mechlin there as a wild card first as well. But psychologically, these wins really do count. Anna Sandmann, Maastricht seventh, as she was in Stuttgart, and Mechlin third in Stockholm. That great drive off for her. Mareike fifth in Lyon and London, Stuttgart third, good Stuttgart for her, and Stockholm was sixth. So that's just a bit of a recap for the drivers that we've had today, or this evening, should I say. Leipzig, of course, as I mentioned earlier, was the setting. It was actually held in the April, so a bit later than we're accustomed to for our usual February finals, and that was this bumper for World Cup finals in one, and it was Bram that took the spoils that time. This trading of titles that he and Boyd Exell have had since 2018. So it was Boyd in 18, Bram in 19, Boyd in 2020. Obviously we skipped the 2021 final, lost so much to the COVID pandemic. Bram back here in 22 for Leipzig. Boyd won in 23, Bram in 24, and Boyd a year ago in 2025. The very first World Cup champion, and he's still very influential in the driving world as a much sought after and very wise and insightful trainer. That's the great Michael Freund, and he won at the end of the 2001 and 02 season in Gothenburg, and in fact he took the title 4 times consecutively when the final was in Gothenburg. It was held there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And of course when Michael Freund and Ijsbrand had that tie for the title in 2005. Ijsbrand then won in 2006. Michael Freund again in 2007. And Christoph Sandmann. He has of course also been a World Cup title holder, and that was here in Leipzig in 2008. Other names in there, Kusterond, he won in 2013. We're missing him as a qualified driver, but he's been making some pretty starry appearances as a wild card. He's actually had quite a good season. He's finished very well, Kusterond, but all being well, as far as he's concerned, it has been odd not having him as a qualified driver. It is amazing. The efficiency, not just for our driving courses, but the jumping as well. each show has a slightly different way of familiarising for walking the course. Sometimes they're up very early, sometimes they build the courses very late at night. I know they do that in Stockholm as well, and gives the drivers a chance to walk it. In places like London, they are the opening act, so say between the afternoon and evening performances, there's a couple of hours in somewhere like London at the Exell Arena. And so as soon as the last of the afternoon classes or displays finished, then they build the World Cup course, and that gives everybody a little bit more time to walk it, because really the sort of 15-20 minutes they had before this class started, there's not a lot of time, particularly for those drivers that are coming into this first drive off. As we welcome in some of the dignitaries, the sponsors, the organisers, Volker Wolf remains in charge of the show, but there's always hundreds of volunteers behind the scenes helping run these shows. Obviously the FEI qualified officials, stewards, and that looks like Mark Venting coming in there. He is the president of the grand jury this time. Mark also does some ringside commentating. He's a judge and competitor, does all sorts of things. Chef to keep to the Belgians and trainer sometimes. A very multifaceted gentleman, also a publisher. Just impossible not to bob along to the beat, isn't it? It's quite infectious, these wonderful events. Obviously competitive, but they really are like great equestrian theatres. There's the all-important titles and wins and prize money and all of that, but there's so much of a celebration of this existence that many of us have alongside our equine partners, and there's no stone left unturned when it comes to making sure that the horses and ponies that participate have the very best of facilities, making sure there's plenty of room in the stabling, good sized stables. It's something that was noted for this show in particular. It is a very big complex, as I mentioned. As in comes our winner tonight, and congratulations to Bram Chardon. It's a good venue, a good event for him. Won here last year, he's won here before that as well, and indeed took his second World Cup championship in this very arena. It all came together tonight for him, and the plan will be that it happens again for him when the places mean points. Yeah, he's looking relaxed. Rightly so, enjoying the moment. The pinnacle, as it is with any elite sport, but particularly with these horses. A lot of work and commitment, and knowledge and wisdom. Here they come. And the manners of these horses. It's very important in a driving horse to have good manners. And they are remarkable in that they just come in and stand attentively and stock still, largely. Just catch a glimpse of Boyd. behind him, and Dries as well. So those are our three drive-off competitors. In they come.
Meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, wir ehren den Sieger mit seiner Nationalhymne, die Nationalhymne der Niederlande. Bram Chardon, Niederlande.
It's a national anthem we hear rather a lot in driving. Don't forget, the Dutch are an enormously successful nation in the singles and the pairs as well, and particularly in the ponies. They have world champions in pretty much all sections of FEI driving. It is a hugely popular sport, and the breeding programs they've had for years to produce these super driving horses. But don't forget, a lot of the Hungarian breeding goes into these indoor teams, in particular the Lipizzaners in their many forms and the many heritage bloodlines. A lot of them, the Hungarian Lipizzaners. I know the Chardons favour them in particular. Very intelligent horses.
Der zweite Platz, der Hunter Leon Kimaro, mit auf der Kutsche waren Tara Wilkinson und Kim van Holder. Auf dem zweiten Platz aus Belgien, Dries Degrieck.
And in second place, it is of course Dries Degrieck. Just doing everything right at the moment for his driving success, all going very well. So don't forget, if you are enjoying this coverage, there's 2 more busy days to come, and all the coverage being brought to you from the FEI TV and Clip My Horse team. So, and all of it is available afterwards. Replay some of the classes on the YouTube channel's free view as well. So lots of opportunities to watch what's going on.
Und dann wollen wir sie gemeinsam feiern. Sie wissen es, wie solche Siegerehrungen aussehen bei den Fahrern. Die Sparkasse Trophy FEI Driving World Cup Leipzig 2026. Aufgesessen und auf zur Ehrenrunde.
So confirmation, as you can hear from a bit of the arena announcing there, that Bram has yet again won the Sparkassen Trophy. Something he achieved last year as well. Snazzy looking rosettes there, aren't they? They're going to pop them out into the crowd. Yes, out they go. That's made somebody's night. Did you glimpse that? The children jumping up and down, absolutely thrilled. So, about lunchtime, local time, if you would like to tune in and watch what happens seconds. There we go. He's only got one more rosette left for Sunday. And obviously this has been a super warm-up round for everybody. It will dictate the running order for Sunday. Lots to look forward to as we are now well underway. Leg 8 in Leipzig, and the night belongs to Bram Chardon. This is what we call the donut part of this. Really quite unique aspect when we round off a driving competition in front of these crowds. A little thin on the ground as we can understand it. What time is it locally? Yeah, we're into the next day. There really is nothing like it. Oh, look at them all go. These beautiful horses. Very special, aren't they? Oh, boys practicing a few turns. Of course he's not. We know what he's up to. Just giving the crowd a little bit of what they love to see. He is an absolute living legend, isn't he? They all are, but my goodness, what he's done for the sport. As we wave off Dries, and rightly so, with the arena to himself. Tonight's winner in Leipzig. Shades Vice Brand. We don't have feet and reins yet, but anyway. It's been lovely bringing you this coverage. Thank you very, very much for joining us. I'm Sarah Dance, rounding off this competition one in Leipzig. Don't miss the World Cup as such, the round on Sunday lunchtime. Can't wait to bring it to you. You take care wherever you are. Do join us again very soon. Good night.